Holly here from Your Past is a Gift. Okay, so we're still going through the list of gifts that are inside all of us, because there are dozens and dozens of things that you can already give to the world that are inside you. You don't have to acquire them somewhere else. You don't have to try and get them from someone else. You don't have to buy them with money. These things have been inside of you the whole time. They were given to you when you came to the world. You were born with them. All of these things are inside all of us. And there's nothing stopping you today from using these gifts. Just choose one that you can start using every day. Choose one. Doesn't matter which one. And as that one becomes more natural to you, choose another one and see how that fits. Okay? Because I put this list together because I'd made a video a few videos back now. And in that video, I was talking about all the gifts that are inside of us, of all of us, that are not out there. You don't have to do anything to get these gifts. You were given them. The moment you came into the world, you already had them. And nobody talks about how important these are. This is the reason that we're all here. You have these gifts to give to the world, to help you connect to others. So in this video, we're going to talk about the gift of honesty. Okay, because this one is a very big one. You know, a lot of times, and I think we learned this from quite little. Okay, let's go back to when we were kids, okay, and you did something and you got in trouble for it. Okay, now from that moment, you had a choice. Okay, you did something. Let's say you broke something, okay, and it upset mum. She got super upset about it and you got smacked or you got yelled at, or okay, the consequence of it being broken was not a good one for you. Okay, what came after you having to say that you broke it? Okay, so this can go two ways. From that moment on, okay, you can learn from that experience and decide that when you break something, you're not going to tell the truth. You're not going to say it was you. It was the dog, it was your sister, it was someone else. You'll blame, you'll find someone. You'll point the blame somewhere else because you do not want to get yelled at and smacked and all the stuff that comes with making that mistake again. Okay, because many times as children, when we make mistakes, which is to break things, which is to, you know, all the things that are considered mistakes, yeah, in life as kids. So we learn from quite little that making those mistakes, we're going to be punished. And this punishment is to remind us not to make that mistake again. That's the whole reason that punishment is in place in the first place. To stop us from doing that again, because it's unacceptable to these adults. Okay? So what happens is, many times what will happen is that then the child learns not to take responsibility for that mistake if it happens again. Okay, it might be unintentional. They may not have meant to do it again, but it's happened again. And this time we try and cover it up. We try and hide it so the adult won't see it. Or we'll lie about it. We'll blame someone else that can take the blame for it so that we don't have to be punished for it. So from quite a young age, we learn to lie to avoid that punishment. Now, unfortunately for me growing up, I grew up quite young already going to Catholic church. So, I mean, I can't even remember how young. I just always remember being there from way back. So I don't know how little I was when Mum took me to church, but that's how, you know, I grew up. And so I took on a lot of the things from church. But the biggest one was that God is always watching. So I knew when I made a mistake that my mum would smack and that my mum would yell, and all these wonderful things that would come with making a mistake, yeah? And they were very undesirable. I didn't want that. But I also knew that if I lied, God would be there at the end to punish me. And I think I was more afraid of what that might be, because in those days we learned that if God did not accept you, you had to go to hell. If he wasn't, if he didn't let you in, if your behavior was unacceptable in your lifetime and you weren't allowed into heaven, then the only other option was that you went to hell. And the whole idea of hell was much scarier to me than having to put up with my mum yelling and smacking. So I couldn't win. I couldn't learn how to lie, because if I did lie to my mum, God was watching. I was going to lose whichever way it went. So I preferred the smacking and the yelling in the end, because I thought, well, I can do that. I already know what that is. I'll just deal with that, even though I don't like it. Than, have to put up with what God might do to me later, if he doesn't open the doors and let me in. That was much scarier to me because of everything they taught you about the devil and hell and what goes on down there, So I didn't know how to lie. I couldn't lie in the end, because I was more afraid of that, of the consequences of God being upset with me than my mum being upset with me. But for many children, if you don't have a concept of God, and if you don't have a concept of the devil and of hell and all these things to be afraid of as a child, then yes, you do. You do learn to cover it up, because you don't want to deal with those consequences when you make mistakes. You don't want to. It's undesirable. You just don't like having to deal with that. So it comes from quite young that we learn to not be honest. But one of the most beautiful gifts that you can give to others is your honesty. Is to say what you think and say what you're feeling and just be you. Because it allows the other person to do the same. It allows the people around you to be honest with you, to not be afraid of expressing who they are when you're honest. So, of course, with the honesty will come, accepting others as they are. Because you will want them to accept you just as you are, and not for, what they want you to be. That's what honesty is. Allowing yourself to express exactly what you think, exactly what you feel, and allowing others to do the same. And that way they can really see who you are. You're really sharing who you truly are to others. So I want you to think about that today. If that's something that happened to you as a child and you've been afraid and always learning to cover up and not tell the truth because of the consequences, that time is gone. You don't have to be that person anymore, or you don't have to be afraid of the consequences anymore. It's all right to be who you are and to share with others exactly who you are. So today I want you to think about that. Is that something that you can start to use? Can you start using the gift of honesty today? And start to be completely honest with the people around you. And not worry about the consequences. Whatever is going to happen, it will happen. Don't worry about it. Just be you. And allow others to do the same. Just be who you are. There is such a freedom. That's why it's such a beautiful gift to be honest, to say what you think, to say what you feel, and not be afraid. There is such a freedom. A whole weight gets taken off when you can be you and not have to pretend to be something else because it's going to upset others. Don't do that anymore. You don't need to do that anymore. If these people in your life right now, if you're honest and they can't accept you as you are. They're not meant to be in your life. That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. You should be allowed to be who you are. Allow yourself that gift today. And the people that will accept you for who you are, they will start to show up. And you will be able to live a more meaningful life because you can be honest with the people around you. You don't have to be hiding who you are anymore. To avoid judgment, to avoid consequences. So think about that today. How can honesty change your life and the life of those around you? Okay? All right. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe below so you don't miss any of the messages. And I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.